pro-Israeli groups have become active to make sure US members of Congress who are supporting Palestine do not return to Congress after the next election.
What is true here is that every single one of them has not acknowledged the fact that Palestinians are dying in the tens of thousands, but will continue to say it is us who are not acknowledging humanity. Rashida will stand strong.
Gentlelady's time has expired.
Movement will continue for liberation until every single Palestinian has the right to
Gentleman
live
from
in
Maryland
liberty.
is rec-
A lack of care and a lack of understanding and a lack of seeing the humanity of folks who look like Rashida Tlaib. It's outrageous that my colleagues are blatantly attempting to silence the only Palestinian American representative right here. It's outrageous, but it's not surprising.
Can we please stop misrepresenting Representative Tlaib's words? She does not want to kill Jews. She is not in support of Hamas. She is speaking as someone who is the only Palestinian American in U.S. history to serve in this body. Without her voice, we would lack even more empathy for the people of Palestine.
On Tuesday, the House of Representatives voted to censure Democratic Congressmember Rashida Tlaib, the only Palestinian American in Congress.
We will not be intimidated. We will not be silenced. And we will not stop until we save lives. We will continue to demand a ceasefire, demand the immediate delivery of humanitarian aid in Gaza, demand the release of all hostages and those arbitrarily detained, demand every American to come home, and demand that Palestinian people to live free from occupation. We are rabbis. We are pastors. We are Congress members. We are surviving family members. We are human beings, and we are bound by our faith to demand a ceasefire now, to demand an end to the violence now, to demand that love and peace and justice and humanity reigns and is at the center of all of our work now, not tomorrow, not next week, not in a month, not in a year, now. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now.
President Jimmy Carter had said once that the members of the Congress who support Palestine will never return to the Congress.
Why don't Americans know what you have seen?
Americans don't want to know, and many Israelis don't want to know what is going on inside Palestine. It's a terrible human rights persecution that far transcends what any outsider would imagine. And there are powerful political forces in America that prevents any objective analysis of the problem in the Holy Land. I think it's accurate to say that not a single member of Congress with whom I'm familiar would possibly speak out and call for Israel to withdraw to their legal boundaries or to publicize the plight of the Palestinians, or even to call publicly and repeatedly for good faith peace talks. There hadn't been a day of peace talks now in more than 7 years. So this is a taboo subject, and I would say that if any member of Congress did speak out, as I've just described, they would probably not be back into Congress the next term.
Who are these forces that you're talking about?
Well, there's an inherent commitment in America, which I share as a Christian, of a deep commitment to make sure that Israel is safe. And that is added onto by the very effective work of the American-Israeli group called AIPAC, which is performing its completely legitimate task of convincing Americans to support the policies of the Israeli government. And AIPAC is not dedicated to peace. They're dedicated to inducing the maximum support in America, in the White House, in the Congress, and in the public media for whatever policies the Israeli government has at a particular time, and they're extremely effective.
2nd, 2002, so it was a year and a day after the 9/11 attacks.
Is answered. There is no question whatsoever that Saddam is seeking and is working and is advancing towards the development of nuclear weapons. No question whatsoever.
We invaded Iraq, and none of the nonsense you just heard there about Saddam Hussein turned out to be true. Today, House Republicans asked him back to make the case again about the end of the world. This time, though, he sees it coming from Iran.
That deal will not prevent Iran from developing nuclear weapons. It would all but guarantee that Iran gets those weapons, lots of them. Iran could have the means to deliver that nuclear arsenal to the far-reach corners of the earth, including to every part of the United States. The Middle East would soon be crisscrossed by nuclear tripwires. A region where small skirmishes can trigger big wars would turn into a nuclear tinderbox. We'll face a much more dangerous Iran, a Middle East littered with nuclear bombs, and a countdown to a potential nuclear nightmare.
So this time, he's in the United States as a serving Israeli prime minister. So this time he got to speak at the podium alone instead of at the witness table. Because Prime Minister Netanyahu is running for re-election in 2 weeks, President Obama did not meet with him on this trip to Washington. There's a longstanding White House policy to not meet with foreign leaders right before those leaders face an election at home. But the sheer political spectacle of this speech in Congress today, of House Republicans inviting a foreign head of state to speak at the U.S. Capitol for the express purpose of undermining the president's ability to carry out his foreign policy, the sheer spectacle of this unprecedented pledge of allegiance to a foreign head of state as a means of insulting and undermining our own president, that has really never happened before. So that made today a very big day in terms of Washington news. That also made today a great day in Washington to bury other news about Congress.